There is a hidden current that flows beneath the surface of human consciousness. It is not seen, but it can be felt. It is not taught in schools, yet it is encoded in ancient traditions. This current is called Kundalini. In the yogic sciences, it is described as the primal energy of creation, coiled like a serpent at the base of the spine. When dormant, it remains unnoticed, but once awakened, it rises through the spine, activating the chakras and transforming the entire being. For some, it is a path to enlightenment. For others, it becomes a source of confusion, imbalance, or even suffering. The difference lies not in the energy itself, but in how it is approached, prepared for, and guided. Kundalini is not a myth or metaphor. It is a real force that operates within the subtle body, and its presence has been acknowledged by yogis, saints, and mystics for thousands of years. The scriptures do not treat Kundalini lightly. They speak of it with reverence and always in the context of discipline, purification, and guidance. To awaken Kundalini without control is like releasing a powerful river without a channel. The water may be pure, but without direction, it can flood and destroy. This is why the yogic path to Kundalini is not just about awakening, but about preparation, mastery, and safe expansion. The ancient sages knew that this energy holds the key to spiritual transformation, but only for those who are ready. To control Kundalini energy, one must first understand that control does not mean suppression. It means awareness, integration, and direction. The process begins long before the energy stirs. It begins with preparing the body, mind, and nervous system to hold a higher voltage of consciousness. Through asanas, we align the body. Through pranayama, we cleanse the nadis, the subtle energy channels. Through bandhas and mudras, we direct the prana inward. And through meditation, we stabilize the mind, so it does not get overwhelmed when Kundalini begins to move. Control is not achieved through force. It is achieved through inner balance. Before we go deeper, take a moment to reflect. If this journey resonates with you, write this affirmation in the comments. I awaken with wisdom, not haste. Don't forget to like this video. It helps spread these sacred teachings. And subscribe to Legends of Soul for more insights into ancient wisdom and spiritual awakening. In the yogic tradition, it is said that the body is like a temple, and the spine is its central pillar. Within this pillar flows the Sushumna Nadi, the central energy channel that connects the base of the spine to the crown of the head. On either side of it flow Ida and Pingala, the lunar and solar currents. When Kundalini begins to rise, it does not move through the physical spine, but through the Sushumna. For this to happen, the Sushumna must be open, the nadis purified, and the chakras prepared. If these conditions are not met, the energy can get stuck, leading to emotional disturbances, physical discomfort, or spiritual confusion. That is why yogis do not chase awakening. They prepare for it. Shatkarma, the 6 cleansing practices of Hatha Yoga, play a crucial role in this preparation. Neti clears the nasal passages and pranic flow. Dauti purifies the digestive tract. Basti cleanses the colon. Nauli massages the internal organs and stirs the vital energy. Tritaka sharpens concentration. Kapalabhati energizes the brain and clears mental fog. These practices are not merely physical. They prepare the entire system to receive subtle energy without disturbance. A body filled with toxins cannot hold light. A mind filled with noise cannot hear the silence in which Kundalini speaks. The next step is pranayama, the regulation of breath. In yogic science, breath is not just air. It is prana, the vital life force. Each inhalation and exhalation carries more than oxygen. It carries the rhythm of consciousness. Techniques like Nadi Shodhana, Bhastrika, and Ujjayi are designed to purify the nadis and build inner heat. This heat, called tapas, is essential for transforming energy. Just as a seed needs warmth to sprout, Kundalini needs tapas to rise. But the breath must be trained slowly, gently, with great awareness. Sudden intensity can do more harm than good. When the breath becomes steady, the mind follows. In yoga, the mind and prana are deeply connected. Control the breath, and the mind calms. Calm the mind, and the inner currents become still. In this stillness, we can begin to feel the subtle stirrings of energy at the base of the spine. It may feel like a vibration, a heat, a current. It may rise during deep meditation or after long periods of disciplined practice, but even then, the goal is not to force its movement. The goal is to observe, guide, and allow. True control is rooted in surrender to a higher intelligence within. As the practitioner progresses, certain techniques become essential: bandhas and mudras. Bandhas are energy locks that contain and direct prana. Mula bandha, the root lock, activates the pelvic floor and awakens the base chakra. Uddiyana bandha draws the energy upward from the navel. Jalandhara bandha seals the throat and prevents energy from leaking upward prematurely. When combined, these three form Mahabandha, the great lock, which is used to channel Kundalini through the central axis. Mudras, like Kachari or Shambhavi, further direct consciousness inward. But these techniques must be learned gradually and with guidance. They are powerful tools, not rituals to be copied casually. This journey is not linear. Some may feel sudden surges of energy, followed by long periods of quietude. Others may progress steadily, with subtle signs and deepening peace. Both paths are valid. What matters is the consistency of practice, the purity of intention, and the wisdom to listen. The body will speak. The mind will resist. The ego will fear. But if the heart is steady and the discipline strong, the energy will reveal its intelligence. When Kundalini begins to rise safely, life itself changes. One becomes more intuitive, more peaceful, more attuned to the inner world. But the real sign of progress is not visions or sensations. It is humility. It is the dissolving of the personal self. It is the awareness that this energy is not ours to control, but to serve. The more we surrender to its rhythm, the more we align with the higher purpose it carries. And in this alignment, control is no longer effort. it becomes grace. To live with awakened Kundalini is to live in alignment with the deeper laws of life. It does not mean escaping the world, but seeing through its illusions. The senses become sharper, but less demanding. Desires may still arise, but they no longer possess the same power. This is because the inner fire has found a higher direction. Instead of burning outward through restlessness and ambition, it rises inward, toward clarity, compassion, and realization. But such transformation cannot be sustained without the anchoring power of daily sadhana. Sadhana is the spiritual discipline that turns momentary insight into lasting transformation. Daily sadhana is not merely a checklist of techniques, it is a sacred offering. Each morning, when we sit to practice, we are not just stretching the body or calming the breath. We are tuning our entire system to the subtle frequency of the divine. One may begin with asanas to awaken the spine, then pranayama to clear the mind, then meditation to settle the being in stillness. The order is not rigid. What matters is the sincerity of attention, the quality of presence, and the inner orientation toward awakening. Not power, not status, but awakening. Many seekers ask how they can know whether what they feel is truly Kundalini. The answer is not in books or even experiences. It is in the aftermath. True Kundalini awakening leads to greater clarity, not confusion. It brings balance, not chaos. It deepens compassion, not pride. If the energy one feels is leading to mental instability, erratic behavior, or spiritual arrogance, it is not awakening. It is imbalance. In such cases, grounding practices are essential. Walking in nature, eating simple sattvic food, serving others, or even pausing all intense practices until stability is regained. The yogic texts describe different stages of Kundalini's ascent. As she rises from Muladhara to Sahasrara, she activates each chakra and unlocks its latent qualities. In Muladhara, she dissolves fear and grants rootedness. In Svadhisthana, she transforms desire into creativity. In Manipura, she transmutes ego into willpower. In Anahata, she opens the heart to divine love. In Vishuddha, she turns speech into truth. In Ajna, she awakens vision beyond the mind. And in Sahasrara, she dissolves the duality between self and spirit. But this ascent is not a ladder. It is a spiral. We rise, we return, we rise again, each time with deeper understanding. Some may experience spontaneous awakenings. These are not to be feared, but neither to be chased. Spontaneous awakening often occurs when the soul is ripe, when the inner work of past lives culminates into a sudden ignition. In such moments, the best approach is stillness. Do not rush. Do not interpret. Let the energy settle. Let the body integrate. Let the ego soften. Seek guidance if needed, but always remember that the awakening itself is not the goal. The goal is transformation. Without humility, power becomes poison. Without surrender, awakening becomes a trap. To truly control Kundalini energy is to become its servant. This paradox is central to yogic mastery. Control does not mean dominance. It means resonance. It means becoming so still, so pure, that the energy begins to harmonize with your being. Then the need to control disappears. The energy moves when it must. It rests when needed. It teaches directly. It purifies what no intellect can reach. And as it moves upward, it leaves behind a trail of inner silence. One of the most powerful yet underrated tools for controlling Kundalini is mantra. Mantras are not mere words. They are sound patterns that vibrate with specific energies. When repeated with devotion and precision, they stabilize the mind and awaken the subtle centers. The bija mantras, like Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, and Om, correspond to the chakras and activate their potential. More advanced mantras, like Soham or the Gayatri, align the practitioner with the cosmic intelligence. But mantras must be received from a living tradition, ideally through initiation. Their power is not just in sound, but in lineage. Another powerful practice is inner visualization. In tantric traditions, practitioners visualize the chakras, the rising serpent, the streams of light ascending the spine. These visualizations are not fantasies. They are inner maps, encoded by ancient seers who saw into the subtle dimensions of the body. When practiced with attention and breath, they awaken the dormant centers. But again, the goal is not just energy. It is clarity, surrender, and unity with the higher self. The greatest obstacle to Kundalini control is the ego, the part of us that wants power, results, status, or experiences. Kundalini cannot be manipulated by the ego. She will not rise in service of pride. She rises only when the practitioner is ready to die to themselves, not physically, but inwardly. The death of the false self is the birth of the awakened self. And this is where the true transformation begins. Not in fireworks, but in stillness. Not in visions, but in the capacity to live each moment with presence. As Kundalini rises, the practitioner may experience moments of bliss, deep silence, or expanded awareness. These are beautiful signs, but they are not to be clung to. Every experience must pass. What remains is the witness, the awareness behind all change, the one who observes the breath, the thoughts, the emotions, and even the energy itself. This witnessing presence is the real goal of yoga. It is what the sages called the Atman, the self beyond time, beyond mind, beyond energy. In the final stages of the journey, the distinction between practitioner and practice dissolves. There is only awareness. Breath moves, but there is no breather. Energy rises, but there is no one controlling it. Life flows, but there is no resistance. This is the true mastery of Kundalini. Not to bend her to our will, but to be absorbed in her divine rhythm. To live as a channel of conscious energy. To become a flame of awareness in the world. If this teaching has spoken to your inner being, write in the comments, I walk the path of inner fire. It will remind you and others that this is a shared journey. Like this video to support the sharing of sacred knowledge, and subscribe to Legends of Soul for more guidance on Kundalini, yoga, and the deeper mysteries of the soul. Remember, the awakening is not the end. It is the beginning of a sacred unfolding, one that continues breath by breath, step by step, until there is nothing left but light.